I let my brother stay in my basement after his divorce. He promised to pay rent once he got a job. Instead, he called a realtor behind my back and tried to sell my house using a fake power of attorney. "It's not like you'll ever amount to anything," he said when I confronted him. "Might as well let someone use it right." I didn't call the police, I called someone else, and what they found. I'm Sam, 46, and I live in Frederick, Maryland. I've been here almost my whole life. I own a small home on the west side of town, nothing fancy, but it's mine. My shop's out back. I've been fixing cars since I was 17. I don't care about titles or suits. I like engines and peace. I don't owe anybody anything, or at least I didn't, until my brother Danny showed up. Danny's 44. 2 years younger. He always had a mouth on him and some scam brewing. When we were kids, he'd lie and cheat at everything: cards, board games, schoolwork, and somehow still come out the favorite. Our mom used to say, "That boy could sell ice to a polar bear." He could too. But he never did anything real with that charm. He just used people and left a mess. I didn't see him much after high school. He got married fast, had a kid, then left her, then went back. That kind of cycle. Last I heard, he was living with his wife up near Harrisburg, working some sales job and blowing all his money on crypto. Then one night, I hear a knock at the door. It's him. No warning. 2 big black trash bags and a backpack. He looked like hell. "Hey man," he said. "Can I crash here for a while?" I should've. Every part of me knew it. But something about the look on his face made me pause. He looked like a dog someone kicked for too long. He told me his wife kicked him out. Said she took the kid and left him with nothing. No car, no place to stay, no job. I let him stay in the basement. It's not finished, but it's warm. There's a bed, a couch, small bathroom. I told him, "You can stay till you get your feet under you. But no freeloading. You help around the house or you get a job." He agreed. "I'll pay rent the second I'm working, I swear," he said. "Just give me a week." That was almost 4 months ago. Week 1, he was quiet. Mostly stayed in the basement. I figured he was going through it. By week 2, things started getting weird. My fridge kept getting emptier, but I wasn't eating more. Then I noticed my truck wasn't parked exactly the way I left it. It took me a day to realize he was borrowing it when I wasn't home. I brought it up. He waved me off. "Come on, man. You weren't using it. I had to get groceries. You could have asked." He rolled his eyes. "You always were uptight." I let it slide. That was my second mistake. By week 3, he wasn't pretending to look for work anymore. He'd sleep all day, then stay up playing video games and talking loudly on the phone to some girl he met online. I asked him if he applied anywhere. "Not yet," he said. "I'm waiting for the right opportunity." Then one night he asked me something out of the blue. "You ever think about selling this place?" "No," I said, caught off guard. "Why not? You could get a nice little apartment. Cash out, live simple." I told him I liked my house. That I'd build my life here. He shrugged. "Just seems like a waste." I started noticing him walking around the yard with a notebook, writing things down. He took photos of the outside of the house. I asked him what he was doing. He said, "Just getting ideas. Might start a real estate hustle." I didn't think much of it. Danny always had weird ideas. He's the type who watched a YouTube video about flipping houses and suddenly thought he was an expert. A week later, I got a call that stopped everything. It was a woman named Sarah from a local real estate firm. "Hi, I'm confirming the listing appointment for your house this Friday. Your brother Danny said." I stopped her. "Listing appointment? For what?" "For the sale of your home. He gave us a power of attorney and said you'd sign on Friday." My mouth went dry. "What exactly did he give you?" She described it, legal-looking paperwork, my name signed, notary stamp and all. I told her to put everything on hold. That I never authorized anything. I went straight home. My heart was pounding. I walked into the basement and found him lying on the couch with headphones on. I stood there until he noticed me. "Why the hell is a realtor calling me saying you're selling my house?" He didn't even look guilty. "Relax," he said. "I was handling it. You should be thanking me." "Handling it? It's my house. You forged my name." He finally stood up and looked me in the face. "You're never gonna do anything with it. You've been stuck here your whole life. Might as well let someone use it right." That's when I realized, he didn't think I'd stop him. He thought I was weak. Some sad old mechanic with no fight left in me. He was dead wrong. Part of me wanted to. But cops ask questions, and I needed proof first. Because knowing Danny, he'd say I was crazy and it was all a misunderstanding. So I called Louis. Louis's a PI now, but used to be a detective. We worked on classic cars together in the past. He knows how to dig. I told him everything. You want me to find out how deep this goes? He asked. Yeah, I said. I want every dirty little thing. 3 days later, Louis came over with a thick folder and a USB stick. He'd done a full background check. Turns out this wasn't Danny's first time pulling this stunt. He tried to do the same thing in 2 other states, Jersey and North Carolina. One case was dropped when the victims couldn't be located. The other was settled. But the pattern was clear. Fake POAs. Fake notary stamps. Fake names. Louis also found a burner laptop in my basement. Danny had no idea he'd installed a keystroke logger on it. Within 48 hours, Louis had access to Danny's fake Gmail accounts, fake LLC documents, and emails to multiple realtors. Even worse? Danny had drafted a second fake POA, one that would give him access to my checking account. He hadn't used it yet, but it was ready to go. I wanted to throw up. I didn't tell Danny what I knew. I acted normal. I let him think I didn't believe the realtor call. I even joked with him at dinner one night about getting older and downsizing. He laughed like it was all under control. He brought strangers to my house twice that week, fake buyers. Walked them around the yard like he owned the place. I watched it all from the window. I took pictures. Recorded video. Louis sat in his car down the street with a camera. I wanted to bury him. Not physically, but legally. Publicly. Permanently. And that's exactly what I was about to do. I want to hit him where it hurts first, I said. So we made a plan. We printed everything, emails, forged documents, POAs, screenshots from his fake bank accounts. I had Louis reach out to the realtor, Sarah, again. She was mad. She could have lost her license if that sale had gone through. I told her what we had. She agreed to play along. That Friday, Danny thought he had another showing lined up. Big money buyer, he told me. Out-of-state investor. He told me to leave the house that day. Said it would kill the vibe if the homeowner was there. I nodded and told him, sure. Do what you gotta do. What he didn't know was, I never left. I parked down the street. Sarah showed up right on time, but not alone. Louis came with her. So did a guy named Brent, a lawyer I'd hired. Everything was set. That's when something we didn't expect happened. Another car pulled up. One we didn't recognize. A woman got out with a clipboard. Then another guy stepped out with a briefcase. They walked up to Danny like they knew him. Louis got pictures. I got out of my truck and walked fast toward the house. My chest was pounding. Something was off. When I reached the porch, Sarah looked confused. Sam. I didn't bring them. Danny was standing there frozen. His face pale. The woman turned and said, You must be Sam Monroe. Yeah, I said. Who the hell are you? I'm with Fairview Estates Management. Your brother has been trying to include your home in a group investment purchase. He said it was part of a trust he controls. What? I said. Louis looked at me. He's bundling your house with others. Turns out Danny had pitched a deal to an investment firm in Baltimore. Said he managed properties under a family trust. Claimed mine was one of 3 houses under his control. The others? One was a foreclosed property he didn't even own. The other belonged to our late aunt, and he was trying to sneak that one in too. That's why he was rushing. He was trying to close the fake bundle deal before anyone caught on. He told them I was mentally declining and emotionally unstable. That he had power of attorney because I couldn't manage my affairs. I turned to him and said, You told strangers I was losing my mind? He tried to laugh it off. Come on, it's just paperwork. No, I said. It's fraud. You tried to steal my life. Then I turned to the woman and said, You're being scammed. He doesn't own this house. He doesn't own any of them. Louis handed them the real documents. Proof of ownership. The original property titles. Copies of the fake ones Danny submitted. They looked like they just swallowed broken glass. Right then, Danny tried to walk away. Like he could just leave and disappear. But he didn't know what was coming. While he was busy playing real estate king, Louis had already sent everything to the county fraud unit. Brent had filed a temporary restraining order. And the realtor had reported his name to the local real estate board for fraud. I made one last call that day, not to the police, but to a family member I hadn't spoken to in years, Aunt Valerie. She was the real owner of one of the houses Danny had tried to include in the deal. She hadn't even known he was doing it. She showed up that night. She slapped him across the face. Literally. Right there in the driveway. She told him he was cut off from every part of the family. And that she was pressing charges. After the confrontation, I thought things would finally slow down. I figured Danny would leave town, hide out, or try to weasel out of it. But I underestimated just how deep his scam went. 2 days later, I got a letter from the bank. It was addressed to Daniel Monroe, trustee of the Monroe Family Living Trust, and it was sent to my house. I opened it. It was confirmation of a wire transfer, $8,000 from an account I didn't recognize, to another one in Danny's name. Attached was a voided check with my home address listed as the trust's business location. I stood there in my kitchen, staring at it, trying to process how far he'd gone. I called Louis. "I thought we had everything," I said. Louis sounded tired. "We didn't. I think he's been using your address to open shell companies. This might go back years." That night, Louis showed up with a printout, about 30 pages thick. "Danny's been using your name and address in at least 4 LLCs across 3 states," he said. "Not just for this house. For credit lines, mail drops, online applications. He's stolen your identity. And it wasn't just mine. He'd used our dad's name too. Our dad died in 2009. Louis pulled up the business registry from North Carolina. There it was. Monroe Auto Ventures LLC. Listed under Daniel Monroe as president and James A. Monroe as senior advisor. Our dad's name. With a fake signature. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about my house anymore. Danny had been doing this behind everyone's back, building a fake empire using dead relatives and anyone dumb enough to trust him. The next morning, I got another surprise, a letter from Child Protective Services. It said I had been listed as an emergency guardian for Danny's son. I almost dropped the letter. I hadn't seen his kid in years. I barely knew him. Last I heard, the kid was living with Danny's ex up in Harrisburg. The letter said she had gone missing, and that Danny had submitted a form naming me as the next of kin. I called the number. They said Danny submitted the paperwork 3 weeks earlier, claiming I was fully prepared to take custody if needed. I told them I had no idea. They put a pause on the process, but warned me that if anything happened to the child's mother, the system would push the case forward. So not only had Danny tried to steal my house, he tried to dump his parental rights on me without asking. Louis kept at it. With every day, he uncovered more. Emails to offshore accounts. Fake social security numbers. Applications for life insurance policies, on me, without my knowledge. He'd faked my signature so many times it looked natural. One of the creepiest moments was when Louis handed me a file labeled contingency. Danny had written out a step-by-step document of what to do, in case Sam finds out. Step 1, delay. Step 2, flip it. Step 3, leave state. He even wrote, "He's too slow to do anything. Won't fight back. Pathetic." Reading that, something inside me cracked. At this point, I didn't just want to stop him. I wanted to ruin him. But I had to do it right. Legally. With precision. So I met with Brent, my lawyer, and we started building the case. We gathered everything: identity theft, fraud, forgery, unauthorized business filings, use of a dead person's identity, attempted real estate fraud, bank fraud, and attempted child abandonment. And then we started calling people. Old contacts. Past victims. Former landlords. Turns out Danny had left a long trail of broken leases, unpaid debts, and people who wanted him gone just as bad as I did. One woman cried on the phone and said, "He made me think I was crazy." Another man said, "He owes me $14,000 and disappeared." And one guy from Jersey? He said something I'll never forget. "Don't just take him to court. Take his name. Make him unhirable." It wasn't me who called them. It was Aunt Valerie. She filed charges for attempted theft of her property and use of her name in false documents. Turns out she had been warned by her accountant after some strange credit pulls popped up under her name. She showed the cops the fake documents Danny used to try to list her home. And they started building a separate criminal case. Now Danny had 2 investigations coming at him, one from me, one from her. But the wildest part? He still hadn't left town. He was staying in some woman's apartment across the river, using a fake name, Devin Marks, and acting like none of this was happening. Louis tipped me off that a joint task force, local police, and the state attorney general's office had officially opened a multi-jurisdictional fraud case on Danny. But they didn't go straight to arrest him. Instead, they watched him. They tracked his phone, his laptop, his mail. They built it brick by brick. It was slow, but it was solid. Louis said they wanted the kind of case that doesn't leave a door open. And during all that time, Danny was still out there, living in someone else's apartment, telling stories, pretending to be a big-shot real estate guy. He even had a new woman believing he was about to close a deal on a block of houses. He had no idea the walls were closing in. One morning I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was from Harrisburg, a hospital social worker. Danny's ex-wife had been found. She was alive, barely. Drugged up, in a motel, weeks behind on rent. She'd left their son with a neighbor and vanished. The state was stepping in. I was listed as next of kin. I told them the truth. I can't take care of a kid, but I'll do whatever I can to make sure he ends up somewhere safe. They asked if I'd testify about Danny's mental fitness, and about the fake forms he submitted. Yes, I said. Gladly. And I meant it. Because this wasn't just about me anymore. It wasn't about property or pride. It was about a kid who was getting tossed around like trash by the one person who was supposed to protect him. They got him at a Starbucks in Gaithersburg. He was sitting there on a laptop, trying to open a crypto wallet using one of the fake names. He never saw it coming. They walked in quiet, asked him to stand up, and within seconds he was cuffed. I got the video later from a friend on the force. Watching it felt like a fever breaking. He didn't fight. He didn't argue. He just looked tired. Defeated. They found 6 fake IDs on him, 3 phones, and a flash drive full of forged forms. It took 5 months to bring him to court. I was there every day. So was Aunt Valerie. So were 4 other people he scammed. I testified first. Told the court everything, the basement, the fake POAs, the lies, the buyers he brought to my yard. I brought the forged forms. The emails. The video recordings. But what really sealed it? Louis' files. The prosecutors used everything. Even the contingency plan Danny wrote where he said I was too slow and pathetic. When that was read aloud in court, the whole room went quiet. The judge asked him, "Do you deny writing any of this?" Danny didn't say a word. He just stared at the table. He got 6 years. Could have been more, but he took a plea on the condition that he cooperate with other cases still being investigated in 2 other states. But here's the thing, even in prison, he's not safe from what he did. The fraud alert on his name is nationwide now. His credit is destroyed. He owes restitution to every single victim, and they're garnishing whatever crumbs of money he ever earns. He's banned from working in anything related to real estate, finance, or public records for life. His parental rights were officially terminated. And his own son? Placed with a foster family, good people. I got to meet them. I check in sometimes. They send me drawings he makes. Calls me Uncle Sam. Makes me tear up every time. People ask me why I didn't punch him. Why I didn't kick him out sooner. Why I let him in at all. I think about that a lot. Truth is, I was lonely. I thought maybe, just maybe, we'd reconnect. That he'd change. That maybe I wasn't as put together as I like to think, and having someone around might help. But I was wrong. And because of that, I let a predator into my home. I've had to fix my credit. Rebuild my accounts. Change every password. Close every open link to that time in my life. But I learned something too. People like Danny don't stop because you ask them to. They stop when someone makes them. And I made him. I didn't yell. I didn't punch. I didn't stoop. I used the truth. I used the law. I used the quiet, methodical patience that built my life in the first place. My house is still mine. My business is growing. I hired 2 more techs and we're booked months out. The basement? Renovated and sealed up tight. No more house guests. The lawyer? Brent and I actually became friends. We fish together now. Louis? He said this was the most satisfying takedown of his whole career. But the best moment? 6 months after the trial, I got a letter in the mail. It was crayon on lined paper. From Danny's kid. It just said, "Thank you for stopping him." That's the real revenge. Not just stopping him, but making sure he never gets the chance to do it again. Not to me. Not to anyone. Ever.